Hey everybody, Tyler here, and welcome to 2-Minute Projects. Don't know what I'm doing with my hands, but that's okay. Guess it's my new thing. So what is 2-Minute Projects? Well, this being the first episode, I should probably explain it just a little bit. So the idea here is I'm going to do a project in about 2 minutes. Today's project is on languages. I'm going to write hello world in 10 different languages as fast as I can. Well, I am cheating. I do have code snippets, and I also have Docker files, so I can just spin up the containers easy peasy without having to install anything. And I already wrote all that ahead of time, so, I'm not actually writing the code. I'm more so just trying to show it to you. Speaking of showing it to you, you can go out on my GitHub, devsplained, and you can clone it and look at it and add to it if you want. You can submit pull requests, whatever you want. I have 15 languages right now in here, and I just keep adding to it. Anyways, each program I'm gonna write is really simple. It's basically just it takes an input, it's a console app, takes an input, you say, it's from this person to this person, and it says hello from to blah. It's pretty simple, pretty basic, but it should give you a pretty good indication of what the languages are. So, without further ado, I guess we go. This is Bash. Bash is one of the scripting languages that you should probably know. It's really great for doing things quickly on a console. Anyways, this right here is a function, and we're going to pass it a string called from. Let's create that function getInput. So first off, we're going to set a variable here called message and set it to empty. We'll use that later down here, and we'll also use it here. I'm going to put a prompt on the screen. I'm going to read from the input, and then I'm going to put that input into the message up to the carriage return. So here we're doing the prompt from, getting it back, and setting it to from, and then setting it to message to, and then we're going to echo that out. Let's see if that worked. Build it. Run it. From Tyler to you. Hey, it worked. All right, C++. We're going to start in this function called main, and we're going to call a good old getInput, passing in a string called to, and we're going to get it back and put it into message to. But we need that function. All right, so cool. We have getInput, but it's not quite finished. In C++, you have to have a header definition, so we'll put that up here. Now it says string will be returned, function's name to getInput, and it takes in a string. Great, so let's do that. Now, down here in our function, we have our variable we'll use. We prompt on the standard out. We take in to standard in, and then we return that back out. Now, here we do both of them, and we set them to variables to and from, and then we're going to do the standard out with the concatenated strings. So let's see if that works. Build, run, Tyler, you. It worked. Hello, C#. All right, C# is one of those things that came from Microsoft a long time ago, and it's gone through a lot of revisions. Now it's on .NET Core, which is the one I'm using. Okay, so what are we doing here? Well, this is a class program because it's object-oriented language. We have classes. Now, this is a static main, so this is an entry point. We don't have to new it because it's static, so this is able to be called without newing the program. All right, so here we're doing a dynamically typed variable, which is set at runtime, and it knows that because of what getInput is. So let's create that function real quick. All right, getInput is a static string function that is needs to be tabbed in, and it is taking in that prompt. Here we're passing in to, here it is. Now we're going to use something on this library system, and we're going to use console.write, and it's going to do the prompt, and then we're going to return the read. So we're going to read that line, which is going to take it all the way up to the carriage return. Now, when that's all said and done, we're going to put those back in here into these variables within the scope, and we're going to write that back out. So let's see what happens. Build, run to you from Tyler. This is Tyler saying hello to you from C#. Hooray! Hello, Elixir. Let's do this. All right, so Elixir is one of those functional languages. Notice I have a module here called Hello Elixir CLI. I have this file over here in my root called mixexs, and in it I have an E script that sets it to the main module to Hello Elixir CLI. Let's go back over here. Okay, now we have a function here called main, and we're going to call trusty old get input. Let's go build that over here. All right, wow, look at that. It's a one-liner. This is great. So we have our definition here of get input, takes in a prompt, and then it does a trim of the IO gets, which is where it gets it from the keyboard, and it automatically takes in a prompt, so that's cool. And then it trims whatever comes back out, taking off any excess things before and after the string, and then that returns it back to message from. Now let's do it to message to. Now let's use IO puts to be able to put that back onto the console. All right, cool. Now let's do our magic. Build, run, from me to you. Hey, it worked. Hello, Java, not to be confused with JavaScript, very different. This is a lot more like C#, I guess. It's an object-oriented language, and we have our class here, Hello Java. We also have this import scanner, which we're not using yet, but we will. So we are taking our call to get input, so we should probably create that function. And here is that. It's also static. We're taking in the prompt, and we're going to use scanner in. Now, this is going to be kind of weird because I'm newing it up, and then I'm newing it up again, but this is just for example. So I'm creating this new scanner. I'm saying use standard in and set that to a variable called in, which is a scanner. Now I'm going to prompt that out to the screen using our prompt, and then I'm going to return in.next line. Now the problem here is that this scanner needs close, but for demonstrative purposes, this will work. So this is going to return it back, put it into message to and message from, and then we're going to build that string, our message, and we're going to use string format to be able to build that using those variables, and now we're going to use system.out to print that out. So let's see what happens. Build, run, to you from Steve. There we go, Steve saying hello to you from Java. JavaScript. Now we're gonna have fun with this. We're actually gonna create an API using Node. Node is basically JavaScript running on the server. So we're going to have a port here, 8080, and we're gonna do it localhost. Now I'm using Express as my web server. So we're gonna basically create that, and then we're going to listen on that port and that host. Now, when we get back, we're gonna go and write a console log, but we're not actually gonna see that because I don't have Node run in a specific way. But let's go ahead and create a path on app. So it passes in the request and the response, and we're going to let the variable message from get what's on the query string in the from spot, and then we're going to do that with to. We're also going to get that, we're going to send that back on the response. So let's go ahead and run that locally using node source index.js. So hooray, it's running. Now let's pop over here to PowerShell, and I'm going to paste this in. This is invoke web request, and I'm going to send it to localhost, and from to, I have to use this ampersand because it's PowerShell. But here we go. All right, cool. So let's bring this up just a little bit, and here is our content. Yay, this is Tyler saying hello, Joe. Cool, it worked. PHP, it's everywhere. Let's do it. All right, so we have to start off with this little tag definition, PHP. Now, PHP is an interpreted language. That means that it's actually going to run a PHP program, and it's going to interpret this as it goes. So we have a function here to with get input, and we're passing it to, and then we're doing it from, and then we're going to echo it back out. Now, we need to create that function, so let's do that here. Now, it's pretty simple. Function get input, we're going to echo out the prompt, and then we're going to use something a little special here because PHP usually doesn't run on the console. It usually runs on a web server, but here we're going to use fgets to take in standard in, and we're going to trim that out, and then we're going to pass that back. So, without further ado, let's build it. Let's run it. All right, to me from me. Hey, this is me saying hello to me. Why not? Ah, watch out, it's a snake, it's a Python. No, it's actually not a snake, it's a language, and it's a beginner-friendly language at that. We're gonna call a function called getInput that we're gonna create, and we're gonna pass it the string from. So let's go ahead and create that. All right, definition, getInput, taking the prompt. Now they have a very nice little function here called input, passes in a prompt, and we're gonna strip the right side of it. So that's gonna come back, we're gonna put in from, put in to, we're gonna put in string interpolation here, see that little F, and we're going to print that out to the console. So let's go ahead and build and run from me to you. There it goes. Rust. It's not rusty, it's shiny. It's actually really close to C++. It's very fast. It does memory safety without having to do garbage collection. And it's a really nice language, especially if you have to do concurrent programming. So here we go. We're going to use the standard IO library, and we're going to use write specifically, and I'm going to create a function called getInput. So let's go ahead and do that down here. Fun. There we go. This is a little bigger than what you're used to, but here we go. So we're going to take a prompt and we're going to return a string. Now we're going to say let input become a new string, and we're going to print that without a line, the prompt. Here's where it puts that variable in the string, and we're going to flush our standard out just to make sure we get that to appear. Now on standard in, we're going to say, okay, use standard in and then read line and put it into this input variable. And if something goes wrong, just tell us. Now we're going to trim that out, and we're also going to convert it to a string. Very important. Now we're going to return that back, and let's do the same thing with R2, and then let's do a print line instead of a print, and we're going to put that together. All right, cool. So there's our Rust program. Now let's build it, which is actually going to compile it, and it's super fast. We're going to run it. We're going to say from Steve to Max. This is Steve saying hello to Max from Rust. Hooray! Hello, Swift. And by hello, Swift, I actually mean hello, Apple. Swift is basically a language that was created in 2014, kind of to replace Objective-C in a way. It has a lot of syntactic sugar that Objective-C doesn't have, and also creates a lot of safety as well. So yeah, it's a very nice modern language for iOS and Mac devices. So let's go ahead and do it. So import foundation, import gclib, so we can actually work with some of this stuff. We're going to do the normal get input, and we're going to print it out. So let's create that function. All right, func get input. So prompt, pass in a string, get back a string. We have a print function here, print concatenate, and our terminator is just going to be empty string. Now, like other console, we'll have to do a flush. Flush toilets, things like that. Now here we're going to read from that input. We're going to let that be that variable input. Nice naming, Tyler. Then we're going to return that back out. This is just in case that was empty. It would return an empty string. So this comes back out, and we're going to print it. Now, because we're running a Docker container, we can execute this. So we're going to say build it and run it. All right, from Tyler to Mac. This is Tyler saying hello, Mac from Swift. All right, that's it. Did I make it? Nope, way over 2 minutes. But hey, I tried, and it was a good, valiant first attempt, right? Anyways, I hope you learned something. There's a lot of languages here. Tried my best. If you want to, you can head over to my blog, and you'll see where my repository is to download and take a look at it if you want to. I tried SQL. That was a fun one. Too big for this, but I tried. Comment below. You can subscribe to this. You can also take a look at the rest of my channel, which is Devsplained, and I hope you had fun. I sure did. See ya.